morning students. Today I am going to continue the chapter Agriculture. India is an agricultural important country. Almost two-thirds of India's population is engaged in agricultural activities. Agriculture is basically a primary activity which produces most of the food for our consumptions and other raw materials for various industries. Some of the agricultural products like tea, coffee, spices, etc. are exported to earn foreign currency. Now, types of farming. Agriculture is a traditional economic activity in India. The cultivation methods have changed significantly depending upon the physical environments like rainfall pattern, land productivity, technological advancement, and socio-cultural adaptability. Now today, first I will explain you primitive subsistence farming. First, what is the meaning of subsistence farming? This is self-sufficient farming in which the farmers focus on growing enough food to feed their families. Now, what is primitive subsistence farming? This type of farming is carried out by small farmers in some parts of India, especially in tribal communities, on small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like hoe and digging stick, using the family or community labors. This type of cultivation depends largely on monsoon rains for irrigation, natural fertility of the soil along with manure as fertilizer and suitability of other environmental conditions to the crops grown. Primitive subsistence farming is also another name with slash and burn agriculture, which is practiced not only by the tribal communities in India but also found in various other countries with different names. In this agriculture, tribal or farmers clear the patches of forest land and burn it for their agriculture practice and leave the patch for 1 or 2 years after the land has lost its productivity. In the course of time, the land is replenished with nutrients. Land productivity is quite low as farmers do not use fertilizers and other modern inputs. It is known by different names in different parts of country. Now, what is jhuming? It is a primitive method of farming in rural areas. It consists burning of trees in forests to clear them out for practicing agriculture It is practiced in many parts of the world by different names. It is known as milpa in Mexico and Central America, Brazil, Masolo in Central Africa. In India, the primitive form of cultivation is known as Bevar or Dhaya in Madhya Pradesh, Pudu or Penda in Andhra Pradesh. Now, what is intensive substances farming? This is the method commonly employed by small farmers with a land holding of less than 2 hectares. It is employed in area where there is high population pressure on land. It is a labor intensive farming. Farmers use heavy biochemical inputs, intensive irrigation to obtain higher production. Intensive substances farming has a typical reason in India, a populous country like India where arable land is limited. Right of inheritance or transfer of land ownership on hereditary line led the reduction of per capita availability of land holding to an uneconomic level through successive generation. Absence of other alternative sources of livelihood puts enormous pressure on agricultural land. Now, what is commercial farming? The agriculture practice which do not mean only for subsistence level but also for economic purpose like value addition, export, etc. are called commercial farming. The main characteristics of this type of farming is larger land holdings, higher levels of inputs like use of HYV seeds, good irrigation facilities, chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, etc. in order to obtain higher productivity. The amount of commercialization of farming varies from one area to another, depending on climatic conditions, irrigation facilities, and other factors. A typical example I will take, that is of rice, which is a commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab, but it is subsistence crop in Odisha. Another example is wheat, which is commercial crop in Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh, but it is subsistence crop in Madhya Pradesh and some parts of Bihar. Now, plantation. This is also another type of commercial farming. Plantation farming is a typical commercial farming which produces raw materials for various agro-based industries. So, plantation has an interface of agriculture and industries. In this, only a single crop is grown on a large scale. So, it covers large tracts of land using capital intensive input with the help of migrant laborers. In India, sugar cane industry, tea, coffee and rubber for their respective industries. Bamboo for wood, based industries, etc. are important plantation crops. Well-known plantation crops are tea in Assam and North Bengal, coffee in Karnataka, sugarcane in Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. The production here is mainly for market. A good network of transport and communication has been developed to connect the plantation areas to the processing industries. Degree of marketization enhance the development of plantation. Now you have to write question and answers in your fair copy. Describe jhuming cultivation. Which type of agriculture is slash and burn agriculture? Explain primitive subsistence farming.